Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com. Today I have a card that features Create a Smile stamps. I created this card for their Case the DT challenge, and I was looking on the blog trying to find a card that I found really inspiring, and I was really drawn to the owner Christine's rainbow cards. I saw one where she did some rainbow frogs, another one where there was rainbow speech bubbles, and I decided to use that as my inspiration and do a little bit of rainbow stamping myself. So I'm using the Cool Buddies stamp set from Create a Smiles, and I'm basically going to be using the penguin and the little hat accessory as and also one of the little sunbursts. Sorry about that. And so I started by stamping down one of the hats first because I want the hat to appear as if it's on top of the penguin, but to get that effect I'll need masking. And so you see to the left there I have some Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo stamping mask paper, and I stamped the hat and cut that out, and I will be covering the hat that's at the very bottom with that masking paper and then stamping the penguin below it. But I also had this idea of a rainbow of hats falling from the ground and or falling from the sky, and one of them falling onto the penguin at the bottom. So I am going to be masking that off, like I said, and I'll stamp down the penguin. And you might have seen earlier that I was kind of trying to line up where the penguin would go to make sure that once I stamped the hat there'd still be enough room for the penguin. And that's what's really awesome about clear stamps, is that you can estimate that really easily. And so I kind of just held both of them on a clear block right on top of each other until I could see where I wanted to place it. Once I have all my main parts of the image stamped, which is the hats and the penguin, I wanted to add in a little bit of an accessory kind of stamp, because it says the sentiment that I used is the warm fuzzies sentiment, and I like to think of these little sunbursts as the fuzzies in the stamp set, and so I wanted to stamp a few of them in. And since I'd already stamped a mask for the hat, I decided that I would stamp it so that some of the fuzzies look to be behind the hats, just to add a little bit of more interest and depth, because this is going to be a completely flat card for me. I really prefer to create flat cards when possible because I do donate a lot of cards to Operation Right Home, and it's better if things are flat. I had considered adding some glitter to the fuzzies because I thought that would be cute and make sense, but then again it wouldn't be really good for Operation Right Home, and so I decided against that in the end. But I'm just going to add some fuzzies, keeping in mind wanting to spread things out. I also know it'll be another opportunity to add in some of the rainbow colors and draw the colors in from one to the next. I'm going to be doing Copic coloring. The panel that I have here is cut with the stitched rectangle die from Lawn Fawn, and I'm using Georgia Pacific cardstock. It's not necessarily the highest quality of paper for Copic coloring, but for me it works, and I've gotten used to coloring with it. But you do have to be careful because it is a little bit more likely to bleed than some of the thicker papers, and so when you're doing a card like this where if you make a mistake, it's all right there on the card base. You'd have to start over. It's, definitely better to have a lot of practice with the particular cardstock that you're used to. I'm using the W markers for the penguin. I generally like to use the W's as opposed to the C's when using grays and coloring something black. I just think that the warmth kind of lends itself more to an animal and the warmth that an animal naturally would have. And so I'm just going to start with the base layer and then add in the darker colors and blend them out. And I'll do the same with the oranges using YR65 and YR68. I'm going to show you the coloring of just one of the hats, because I'm going to color them all the same way, and I think that once you see one of the coloring you'll know what to do, and you can use whatever markers you have on hand, or you can of course do this with colored pencils or something like that. To color the hats, I'm keeping it really simple. I'm using 2 colors for each hat. I'm starting with the darker color, laying it down on the bottom of the brim and the bottom of the main hat piece, and then I'm blending it out with a lighter color, and that's it. I want to keep it super simple. And then I'm using a 3rd color for the band of the hat. For the fuzzies around it, I'll just be using some different colors that blend in with the rainbow order. So in between the blue and the green hat, I'm using a blue-green marker just to kind of create that effect of the rainbows kind of going into each other. And I put this on some black cardstock, and that piece of black cardstock was actually a reusing of a card that I received for Christmas, and so I definitely recommend holding on to those kind of things. Once you're done enjoying them, they could always be used as a piece of good quality cardstock. If you ever try some rainbow stamping, another thing to keep in mind is how you're going to spread out the color. I wound up with a lot of purple on this particular card, and while I don't mind the way that that looks in the end, it is something to keep in mind if you wanted to make sure the colors were spread a little bit more evenly throughout. You could plan to have the exact number of hats, 6 for 6 colors or something like that. So that's it for my card today. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafty videos, you can subscribe to my channel. I'm going to leave you links to the products and to the Create a Smile blog so you can check them out. They have some really adorable stamps. Thanks for watching. Bye.